Greetings, my friends. Reform Stoic here, back with another video. I think we're going to try to get the grill hot again and try to chug some videos out because, frankly, I don't have that much going on in my life right now, and this is a positive outlet for me. So I am finally going to make this video, which is about weightlifting. That's right. I'm going to share with you my perspective on what I think is knowledge about weightlifting. Believe it or not, I've put some serious time into it. Really quick, going over my story. Tiny, scrawny kid growing up. Middle school, first day of middle school, I was like 4'7", like 50 pounds. I was incredibly small, like 70 pounds. 70 pounds, 4'7". I think I was 4'11" by the end of middle school. I had super long bleached hair. I was in a Nirvana cover band, kind of. That was the only time I ever really had a girlfriend that was actually like a real girlfriend that lasted for a few months. But I had my final growth spurt my freshman year in high school when we took a cruise, jazz band and dance team. There was like all these buffets open all the time on the cruise. We'd have ice cream cone eating contests where we made these giant ice cream cones. I gained like 8 pounds in a week. And shortly after that, like over the course of that year, I grew up to 5'8", 130 pounds. Started lifting weights. What happened is I started just doing this little rinky-dink calisthenics routine in my room. I started just like getting to where I could do like 10 or 15 push-ups, did some sit-ups, messed around with dumbbells. I used to do this one, which is kind of a silly exercise looking back. Hit your front head of the delt and then your side delts. I mean, this is all right. Ultimately, you see people doing this for the side delt raises, but I messed around with that. Then my dad started taking me to the gym like once a week through my sophomore year. And then I was telling my friends sophomore year, I'm going to join weight training. I'm going to take weight training class. I was just starting to talk about it. Like, yeah, I'm going to take weight training. And people are like, bullshit, bro. That class is really hard and you're not going to make it. And yeah, good luck with that. And people were talking like I couldn't do it. And that year I took weight training and it absolutely changed my life. I went from I couldn't even bench 135 to being able to rep 135 for like 10, 15 reps. I got to where I could bench like 185 at 135 pounds. My squat seemed like it was pretty impressive. I swear I was repping 225 on squats in high school. Probably not as deep as I'm going now, but it happened pretty quick. Like over the course of that year, I went from like not being strong at all to being pretty damn strong for my size, not like YouTube strong. You can find people on YouTube, 125 benching 300 pounds and stuff, but pretty strong for my size and 20 pull-ups. And I was in running shape and all of that. And part of what I want to talk about in this video is like the mistakes that I made. And I've tried to give advice to help people to avoid the mistakes that I've made. I give self-help advice, trying to tell people how to do better, talking about dating and disenfranchised men and stuff. And a lot of people say, bro, just lift weights, man. It will solve all your problems. I remember when I was first trying to find all this PUA dating advice I could find back in like the early 2010s. One of the random ones I found was called the muscly jerk. I swear it was a PUA system. You can probably still find it, called the muscly jerk. It just had this ridiculous cartoon guy with big arms and like girls next to him. It's like, you don't even need to worry about how you talk to women. You don't need to worry about how you approach. You don't need to worry about any of that. That's all brainwashing bullcrap. Just get freaking huge, and then women will be all over you. And if somebody held a gun to my head and was like, tell me right now how true that is, I would probably, that's like 80% true. That's like 80% true. Like, all the stuff that you hear about, like you got to approach the 2-set and then have the right opener and then peacock and then say this and say that and do this and, you know, like make eye contact and have your body language. It's 20% that and 80% just being buff. Now, then there's the black pill, like how tall are you and things like that. But regardless of the black pill, it's better to be bigger. It's better to be stronger. It's better to be better, dude. It's better to be the best that you can be. No excuses, dude. Like, look at Tiger Fitness. I don't know if he's still around. I think I remember him saying he was like 5'4". Maybe he was more like 5'6", but there's guys out there, and this isn't the route that you necessarily want to take, and I don't recommend it. You know, roided up dudes who just live lifting, and they're like 5'6", 290 pounds. That's not good for you. But ultimately, the just lift weights, bro, it shouldn't just be written off. It actually is really amazing advice, and it really could change your life. But the problem is that there's so many ways to fail in the gym. You think it would be simple. You think you just go. It reminds me of Pinocchio. There's so much great wisdom in the movie Pinocchio, but it's like Pinocchio is like naive and he's skipping to school. La da 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 da. I'm going to school. I'm going to school. La da da da. And then that fox, and then those like two foxes, the connivers, the people who deceive Pinocchio, they start skipping along with him. It's like, where are you going? It's like, I'm going to school. It's like, no, you're not. You're coming to Pleasure Island. And they lure you off somewhere else. They lure you off of the path. There's so many ways that you can veer off of the path to gains and success in the gym. And you'll hear about it and you think it won't happen to you, but it will. And the delusion is strong and the ego is strong. And I would say that I'm just now getting my second win. I just did an arm day today. I don't really look phenomenal right now. I got all kinds of trolls on here. And one of the things people have said to me is, Stoic works out all the time and he looks the same and he never looks any different. Well, I can tell you right now, the scale is different. I am bouncing around between 175 and 180 pounds right now. And I've been this weight before, but it wasn't good. It wasn't good other times that I was this weight. It meant that I had a lot of work to do. I'm a little bit heavy right now. I'm not doing the 10-minute jump roping sessions that I was doing, but I'm not as far behind as I felt other times I was this weight. Like, there's more muscle under there. Like, this is like the realest bulk that I've had in a long time. And I'm 33 years old, and I'm getting bigger, and I'm putting on muscle, and I'm basically doing now what I should have been doing 10 years ago. Like, as soon as I started lifting weights, and I have a pretty good idea of where I went wrong, so I'm going to stop dancing around it. This video doesn't need to be incredibly long, but I have been doing it for a long time. You know, after that first year of weight training, I took weight training again the next year in high school, my senior year. So junior and senior year, I did weight training, and then I was a total lifter bro in college. But what happened was I pretty much got about as strong as I was going to get in like the first year. I got to that 185-pound bench press, and then I was just, I know what a plateau is. Like, man, I've lived and breathed the term plateau. And I'm going to get into what I needed to do differently, because that's ultimately my advice for everybody watching. But I stayed 135 pounds. I stayed at the 185 bench press. And then eventually, after like 6 months, I got 190. And it got to a point where like I could just not get past like 190 or 195. 19, 20, living in Boston, lifting over there. I got up to like 145 pounds. So I gained like 10 pounds, but I really didn't get that much stronger. I swear, like, there wasn't real progress in my deadlift or my bench or really anything. Like, I'm thinking about how I used to lift. I found this program called Max OT, which is like 4 sets of 4 to 6 reps. You gotta train heavy. You gotta lift big to get big. That was kind of the brainwashing. And so much of it is eating. And I definitely think I had an ectomorph thing going on. But I also think about how much about the party I was. Drinking, smoking cigarettes. Weed is supposed to like give you the munchies, but yeah, I don't know. It didn't seem to help, man. Like, it's kind of a mystery to me how I stayed that light for that long, because now it just seems so natural. If somebody's like, hey man, get up to 200 pounds, like, don't worry about how you get there. Just be 200 pounds and then we'll start training you. Like, if a personal trainer told me to get to 200 pounds, I feel like I could do it. Like, I just have a good understanding now of like when I eat, how I gain weight, and it just doesn't seem very hard. So it has to have been my metabolism changed. But even if you're an ectomorph, you can deal with that, and I needed to deal with that, and I wasn't. So the first lesson, we need to stop getting to me like rambling about my past and start getting to the advice, okay? There's 10 minutes of me giving you my background. First lesson, if you are small and you want to get bigger, start gaining weight. And for some people, maybe that's easy. We're going to get to guys who are like already heavy or too heavy. And that's not the end of the world. It's just that my problem was I was an ectomorph. And I was strong for my size, and so much of it was ego. I was all wrapped up in my ego, and I couldn't just kind of like let it go. I couldn't just be like, look, man, I'm not where I want to be. I want to stop acting like I am. I want to stop, because I was acting like I was super tough, and I was kind of a tough little guy or whatever. I mean, it's not really about that, because everybody knows in the world of martial arts, there's all kinds of guys who are like deceptively strong, or they look like they're a pushover and then they beat your ass. But for this, guys, it's all about aesthetics. So there's no order, but the first thing I mentioned, rule 1, is if you want to get bigger, which there's a good chance you do, like if you're skinny, small, scrawny, you're going to need to gain weight, okay? Bottom line. Okay, so as long as you're in the gym and you're doing the split that I'm about to tell you, the split is like how you plan your workout throughout the week. I think a tried and true split that should work for basically anybody is the push, pull, legs split. And if you take one rest day, then that's push, pull, legs, rest, push, pull, legs. That's a week. 3, 1, 3, 7. 7 days in a week. Now, if you're more of a beginner lifter, you're probably not going to want to lift that often. So you might do like Monday lift, rest, Tuesday or Wednesday lift. So then you could just do it 3 times a week for like the first month or so. Basically, how sore your body gets is going to be an indicator. Like if you're just like crazy sore and you can barely even walk, then you're going to want to take a little bit more rest. But just getting right down to it, guys, I don't want to like ramble too much more. I want to get to the meat of the point, okay? You are just now starting to lift weights. You're young. You want it to improve your life. So you want to get bigger, building muscle. You want to see the weight go up on the scale. And part of that will be the weight going up in your lifts. It's this deadly balance, this esoteric knowledge of, well, the compound lifts, bench press, deadlift, and squats, I feel like barbell rows or some sort of a row is kind of like the dark horse, because, squats hits your quads, the biggest part of your leg, bench press hits your chest, which is like a big upper body muscle group. And deadlifts hits like your hamstrings and your lower back and your traps and forearms. And I love deadlifts. Like, deadlifts have become a huge staple in what I do. I do deadlifts every back day at the beginning of back day. But it's weird how it's not like, oh, okay, deadlifts for big lats. So I would say the compound lift for your lats would be like a bent over barbell row, or some people do it with dumbbells. But, you know, kind of the thinking is that there's debates between dumbbell bench press and barbell, but ultimately you're going to be able to do more weight on the barbells, and you should just definitely, like, the base of the program is going to be barbells. Obviously, barbell squat, barbell deadlift. You see people deadlifting with dumbbells. It's whatever. I mean, barbell deadlift, barbell bench press, barbell squat, barbell rows, dude. I love them. Once I learned how to really, like, you really want to bend over. Sometimes you see guys doing like this. You really want it to be more like this. You're basically like bent all the way over. I love those. I feel like I started noticing more gains in my back doing that. So it's this deadly esoteric knowledge balance of your success in the compound lifting movements, squat, deadlift, bench press, rows. That is going to be the most important part in your building muscle. But it is those same exact lifts, particularly the squat, bench press, and deadlift, where you can get too hung up in this like wannabe power lifter mentality. And the thing that I have to convey to you is, like, if you're gonna be a power lifter, then you have to like learn the art form and take it seriously. And probably most people should get a coach for it to do it properly. Overall, starting out, building your base, going through the motions, learning the art of weightlifting. What I like to tell people is, like, lifting weights is like playing an instrument, you know, or it's like you're playing a video game. And people who use crappy form, it's like you're playing a game where it's like, yeah, you can go to the next level, but you only got 80%. You only got 80% in that last level. There's some people who want 100% the game. Like, I'm doing a 100% run, 100% of this level, 100% of that level, 100% of that level. I got everything I could get in that level. It's not about obsessing over lifting light. I don't want people to think that it's better to lift less weight. It's not. But you see people who are so thirsty to be strong. They just want to say that they deadlifted this amount, or bench pressed this amount, or curled this amount. That's another thing that people should be aware of, is things that aren't compound lifts, because then there's the isolated lifts, or what's the word there? Compound, whatever. There's the not compound lifts, like a bicep curl. You know, the stereotype for like being a muscled up guy or a gym bro is like doing curls. And I got really caught up in doing curls in high school. I saw this guy at the gym today. He looked like a kid. He looked like a little kid. And he was standing next to me. I was curling 30s and he was curling 40s. And it was a joke, dude. And some of these people in their mind, it's like, this guy's curling 30s and I'm curling 40s. It's like, dude, you look like a little kid, man. This guy told me one time, I posted on Facebook, I was making fun of how some big guy was squatting 95 pounds on the squat rack, because I thought I was all hot shit, squatting 225 for, you know, not the best reps ever. He's like, it's not how much you lift, it's how much you look like you can lift. You'll understand one day. And I do understand, because I'm standing next to this dorky kid and he's curling these 40s, and it's just a joke. There's nothing impressive about it. And it's not like his form was like terrible, but no, it was. You know, he was not strict curling 40s. You just look at this kid and his little pencil neck, and he just looks like a little kid. It's like, dude, you're not curling those 40s. I was thinking, dude, I want to see that. Stop curling, bend over, and let's see if you can actually do like rows, you know, dumbbell rows. That's another great way to do the rows. Let's see if you can do dumbbell rows with 40s, because I swear he probably couldn't. He's this unmuscled, skinny, pencil-necked kid, and it's like, Oh, so you can curl 40s, but you can't row 40s? So your biceps are stronger than your back? Or are you just like, what are we doing here, man? The only person you're fooling is yourself, bro. You're not fooling anybody. And that's this, it kind of gave me the saying. I wanted to say it to him. I was like, oh, I used to curl 40s too. It's like, yeah, I used to curl 40s when I was your age too. It's a joke, bro. So if you spend all this time in the gym, like swinging around big dumbbells, thinking you're something, you're not building muscle, you're working towards injuries, you're working towards imbalances, every curl, bro, has one bicep bigger than the other. I did to this day. I've been kind of I kind of became obsessed with balance over the years. But, yeah, don't get like obsessed with isolation movements because there's no reason. Like if you're obsessed with bench press, squats, or deadlifts, very well. Treat it like an instrument. Treat it like you're playing the violin when you're bench pressing, okay? This stuff, like when somebody has like a 1 rep max video and they're like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. I don't think you should ever look like that in the gym. Maybe every once in a blue moon, you have a day where you push yourself really hard for a 1 rep max, but it's really not worth it, dude. If I wanted to test my strength, I'm more likely to do like, you know, what's like the heaviest weight I can do for 6 reps? Or what's the heaviest weight I can get 3? Like yesterday for squats, I did a couple of sets of 3, and then I just kept doing sets of 2 with 2 minutes rest in between until I got to a double that was like pretty heavy. But, it's squats. You don't really want to be bailing squats that often. So and I'm going to do that same workout next week. That's another rule of thumb. Random thing of advice is you want to pick a program and kind of stick to it. And if you are going to like kind of jump around, which you shouldn't that much in the beginning, at least do it twice. Like I did an arm day today that I'm probably not going to do indefinitely. I'm going to do it one more time though. Like at least do something twice, so you can see like if you did better. So you have something to compare it to for last time. But for the most part, like you don't want to do, especially as a noob, it's like, oh, this week I'm going to do 5 sets of 5, then I'm going to do 3 sets of 8, then I'm going to do 4 sets of 12. There's not really a way to measure your progress. And you might think, oh, well, I'm mixing it up and I'm like keeping myself on edge. I mean, if you really want to do that, you get some sort of like a strength coach and he cooks up all of your freaking workouts, and there is kind of something to that. But especially as a noob, dude, you could do 5 sets of 6 to 10 with like a warm-up set. Your first set's a warm-up, then you do 4 good sets of 6 to 10. You could do that for probably 6 months and just continuously make gains. So getting into the specifics of the program that I think is good for any noob is push, pull, legs. But I actually start with the pull day. So pull, push, legs. So pull is back, biceps, deadlifts, rear delts. I'll do like 1 rear delt exercise, all the way bent over doing this action. No more face pulls because that's how I freaking pinched my nerve. So on your pull day, like for me, I start with deadlifts for like 3 to 4 sets. I do 1 warm-up set of 3 for like any big exercise. So let's see. I do the deadlifts, then I go do barbell rows for 4 sets, and then I do pull downs and pull-ups. I'm at an awkward state where I'm probably getting to where, I don't know, maybe I'm getting pretty close to being able to do 12 to 15 pull-ups for my first set. So I'll do sets of pull-ups until I can't do more than 6. Or if I can't do more than 5. Because I think the best rep range is like 6 to 12. And you probably want to be doing more than 6 reps, and you probably want to be doing less than 12 reps. But that's a really safe rep range. It gives you some elbow room because you don't know how much improvement you're going to see. So keep the same weight and take a weight that you can do for like maybe 4 sets of 6, and then just keep doing that weight every week. And, then you'll get 4 sets of 8, then you'll get 4 sets of 9, then you get 4 sets of 10. And then you can start thinking about upping the weight by like 5 pounds. And just keep doing that. I mean, you could really just keep doing that. It's not rocket science. It's one of these things that it's just like a balance, It's not rocket science to lift weights the right way, but there's so many pitfalls that people can fall into. I did not gain weight. I lifted too much weight, and I was getting memed into being like a lousy power lifter. Like, I needed to lower the weight and learn the art of the deadlift, get better deadlift form, better bench form. I needed to like learn all the lifts better. So that's why I'm saying avoid powerlifting for like 3 or 4 years. You want to you're not necessarily a bodybuilder. It's like a mix of strength and size. Anything below 6 reps, now you're in like the powerlifting range. You're in like the more power strength building range. And then anything above 6 reps is more like the hypertrophy. So that's why 6 to 12 is kind of the sweet spot. Some people say that like once you're like 12 or above, now you're in like pure hypertrophy. But that's more so like if you're taking roids or something, or you have really good genetics. A pretty safe bet for most people is really about 8 to 10 reps, okay? But if you get 4 sets of 6 and you push pretty hard, that's good. If you got 4 sets of 12, nothing wrong with that. Just you're going to want to up the weight next time. And play it like an instrument, should look good. If you're doing this, even if you have a spotter, see, I don't lift with a spotter, so I have to kind of make sure that I use weight that I can manage, because I don't want somebody to have to come save me, which I had to do to somebody the other day. Really strong guy, freaking benching 275 for reps, and then I look over and he's freaking failing. It's like, I yelled out, "You better be strong, dude, because I don't even know how much I can help here. I'm not even deadlifting 275. Now I'm getting pretty close to getting to 275. But, yeah, so that's the cool thing about not having a spotter. It's like, I just don't think you should ever look like this. I don't think you should struggle that much on the deadlift. You definitely don't want to struggle on the squats. I mean, there's like the bail rack safety thing, but you're not going to want to be bailing on squats, dude. You're not going to want to be failing, and there's just not really a reason to. Like, dude, just use less weight. Use a weight that you can do comfortably, 6 to 12 reps, less than 12, probably more than 6. It's okay to, like, you're better off doing 6 than you are 12. Like, if you're regularly doing like 4 sets of 6, you're building a really good combination of strength and size. But for building muscle, more towards the 8 to 10 rep range is going to be kind of the sweet spot. But so you can look up a push-pull leg split. You don't really need me to tell you how mine works, but I left off the pull-ups and pull-downs. If you can do 20 pull-ups, then you should probably do pull-downs, because I basically see them as the same exercise, So if you can do 20 pull-ups, then what you could do is like do maybe 2 or 3 sets of pull-downs, like really heavy, and then maybe for your last set do pull-ups, and then you'll be pretty burnt out to where maybe you can only do like, I don't know, 15 pull-ups, and that would be kind of cool. Some people do weighted pull-ups. I just don't think there's like that big of a difference between doing pull-downs and pull-ups. There's a little bit of a difference every now and then if you want to mix in the weighted pull-ups. But if you're a noob listening to this, if you're doing weighted pull-ups, then you probably have some of that like muscly jerk energy going. You don't even need my advice. So then, then I'll do like a chest-supported row machine. Maybe I'll do the cable rows. And then I'll go do couple sets of rear delts, and then I'll do a couple sets of curls, and then I'll do like 1 set on the cable curl. I really don't do that much for biceps. I'm starting to experiment with this arm day. There's a video where a guy says if you have small arms, like if you don't have like super developed arms, then the push-pull leg split is overrated and you should have an arm day. And then he just says push, pull, legs, and then an arm day. So you can consider that. I'll leave it up to you. I also recommend that all guys kind of have in mind, like, maybe learn how to fight a little bit. It doesn't hurt to be able to defend yourself, to feel confident. If you're going to be at parties and you're young and there's all these cocky guys around, like, it might be a feather in your cap if you're able to beat somebody's ass, which the best way to do that is to just join wrestling. And if you're a smaller guy, I definitely think you should join wrestling. But maybe it's too late. Maybe you're already like 17 and 18 and you're already a tortured youth, in which case you're just going to be a freaking sandbag. So just lift weights, dude. Just lift weights. You don't necessarily have to be tough. And you're not going to look like a bodybuilder unless you take steroids or your genetics are like absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, doing an arm day, like, to start off, I probably wouldn't. Like, I would just stick with the push-pull legs, and then after a year, see how you're looking, and look at your genetics. Some people have huge legs. Like, take a look at your body and think, which body parts would I like to be bigger? And if it's your arms, like, first thing you want to do is adjust your compound days. Like, triceps are an extension of your chest. Triceps are involved in the bench press. Triceps are also involved in shoulders, overhead press. So maybe there's things you could do to tweak. Like, maybe you're not going hard enough in overhead press or bench press and that kind of stuff. So always be thinking of the compound lifts first. So, your biceps, work with your back for a row or for pull-ups. So for bigger biceps, like, it's kind of like your abs. Like, when you get leaner, when you get shredded, people are like, oh, damn, dude, you must be doing a ton of curls. Like, no, honestly, I just do my compound lifts, do my pull-ups, and I'm lean. And now my biceps show. So working out your arms is a little bit overrated. You hit your triceps at the end of your push day, because push is chest, shoulders, triceps. So triceps at the last thing of your push day, biceps as the last thing on your pull day. You do the compound movements first, and then you end with the isolation movements. It's the icing on the cake. It's the cherry on top. The thing I liked about arm day today is I got to start with shoulders, because I start with bench and then I do incline and then I go to shoulders. And by the time I get there, I can only do like 70 pounds for the kind of rep range I want. Today, I started out with a nice set of 9 with 95 pounds. That was a little bit much though. Like, I felt it in my shoulder. My shoulder was kind of burnt out, even from the chest day, just like the day before, 2 days before. But that's what I liked about arm days, that it gave me a shot to hit shoulders when I was fresh. I think eventually, because that's something you want to think about. Like, once you get 6 months deep, a year deep, there's this weird things I feel about the push day and the pull day. Like, for the push day, it's like maybe you want to start with shoulders and then do bench. It's really about what aesthetically do you think needs more work. And a pro tip is that what I'm doing is I want to get to where I can do my body weight for like 8 sets of 8 on bench press. Then I'm going to move to basically exclusively incline bench. All kinds of people out there say you should just focus on incline bench. It's harder to get injured. It's just better aesthetically. There's like, these are really the muscles that you want in your upper chest. And then the thing, so for chest day, it's like, man, I kind of want to start with shoulders, but I'm going to wait on that. See, I'm going to meet that goal for flat bench. Then I'm going to start with incline bench, and I'm going to set some sort of a goal for incline bench, like maybe the same thing, be able to bench my body weight for sets of 8. Then I'll start with shoulders. And then after shoulders, do the incline. So that's my philosophy on push day. For pull day, it's like, I don't really know if I want to start with deadlifts. It's so weird. It's like, it's a back day. You think you're big, wide. You want your lats. You want your freaking wingspan. And I'm starting with a lift that doesn't even really hit lats that much. And it takes an incredible amount of energy. So I start with this like incredible difficult movement that takes a lot of energy and makes you super sore. And then you go start your back day. And I just thought that was kind of weird. It almost makes me think like, man, I kind of wish I had a day where I just did deadlifts by themselves. And then on back day, I didn't do deadlifts, so I could have my first thing like pull downs or bent over rows, so I could have more energy for that. But it's whatever. You know, it hits your lower back, which is important. Man, when I do the shadow wrestling, the first thing that goes every time is my lower back. Like, so much of your functional strength is in your lower back. And but yeah. So sometimes I just think it's weird that I start back day with deadlifts, but it's fine, you know. It's fine. And then leg day, squats, take your time learning them. But man, oh man, I've really rambled on about this. I'm going to have to probably edit this video up. Basically, guys, you want to figure out really quick, what's your deal? Are you an ectomorph? Is it hard for you to gain weight? Very common for young guys. I think what happened for me is my metabolism slowed down over time and it was easier to gain weight. You want to gain weight, though, and never lose sight of it. It's like, if you're me, when I was young, it's like I'm 135 pounds. I'm strong. I'm shredded. I can do a lot of pull-ups, but I'm not big. And, you know, sometimes girls like those guys. Like, you know, I could have did better if I would have had better confidence and stuff. But I also would have did better if I could have been 155 pounds lean in high school. Oh, my gosh, that would have made a world of difference, dude. I would have been beating people up and beating girls' booties up, too. But anyway, that's a struggle. Like, you're going to have to make some sacrifices because you can gain weight. I try to think about how I ate back then. My memory's a little foggy there. It's easy to kind of act like you eat a lot. It's like, oh, I don't get it, dude. I go to McDonald's and I get a bunch of burgers. It's like, yeah, you do that, and then you don't eat for the rest of the day. And then you run around in the woods and get high with your friends and smoke cigarettes and drink. This guy gave me some shit. He's like, dude, I just thought all you ever wanted to do was eat McDonald's because whenever we were out partying, you were always like, let's go to McDonald's. You always complained and like said you wanted to go to McDonald's. Well, dude, that's it right there. Because I was always like hanging out with all these party druggy people, smoking cigarettes and drinking and smoking weed and not eating. I was always out moving around, expending energy, drinking, and just not eating. I wanted to go to McDonald's because I was hungry and that's all that was open. So it's frustrating to think back. So I really didn't. Like, first of all, if you're an ectomorph, you probably just don't eat that much, dude. Like, you might think that you do, but you need to learn how to eat. And it's actually kind of a privilege, dude, because your first mission is like, make that weight on the scale go up. And you don't need to, you think about the weightlifting stereotypes. It's like, oh, I'm going to get my cans of tuna and my broccoli and my white rice. It's like, no, dude, that's for regular ass people who like, it's not hard for them to gain weight. You got to eat whatever, dude. Like if it's donuts, McDonald's, Wendy's, fast food, pizza. Now, once the weight on the scale starts going up, then it's like, okay, well, now you need to calm down, and because you don't want to gain way too much weight initially, but you're going to the gym, you're doing your lifting program, no matter what, no matter where you're at, you're going to the gym. But it's going to be a waste of time if years go by and you don't gain weight. That's what happened to me. Lifting, max OT, 4 to 6 reps, got to lift big to get big, lifting way too much weight. I'm trying to do 5 sets of 5, and because I wanted to lift so much weight, it would be like 5, 3, 2, 1, to where I'm almost 1 rep maxing every time and failing, and it's stupid, dude. Like, do your program. If you're doing 5 sets of 5, then make sure that you can get those reps every time, dude. Be meticulous about it. Be mechanical. You know, once you start to get in the rhythm and know yourself, you know, you can push a little bit harder. Maybe on the last set, do some extra reps. Like on your last set, do whatever you can do without injuring yourself or, you know, bailing on a squat or needing somebody to come save you from under the weight. But yeah, if you got a couple of extra reps, do it, if you can manage it. But that's really all there is to be said, guys. And somehow the video ended up being 40 minutes. I'm definitely going to have to edit this a little bit. But go to the gym. Do the push-pull leg split. People say that like rest is really important. For like the first 6 months, if you've never lifted before, yeah, you probably only need to go to the gym like 3 times a week. It's not necessarily going to help you, especially if you're a little ectomorph guy, to go to the gym extra. So you just look up push-pull leg split online, and somebody will take care of you. If anybody's really interested in mine, I can put it in the description of the video or something, or maybe make a comment about it, and I'll put it in the community tabs post. I put a lot of emphasis on the ectomorph people who it's hard to gain weight. Like, all I can say is that you can gain weight. Start by just, your first mission is to make the scale go up, dude. Like, you're 125, you want to be way bigger than that. Like, just start eating, dude. Eat Pop-Tarts. But I got sick when I ate the box of Pop-Tarts, so it needs to be a little bit of a balance, bro. You can't get sick. Like, if you just gain weight from a bunch of disgusting slop, you might get sick, and then it's counterproductive. So, but excellent stuff is like macaroni and cheese and ground beef. That's what I just had for dinner tonight. Man, you make a box of macaroni and cheese, a pound of ground beef, maybe put a little garlic and broccoli in it, peanut butter. Oh my gosh, dude. Like, just buy celery sticks and just gloop peanut butter all over it, chunky peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I don't know how I ever struggled to gain weight now. And now I just think, I look back and think, wow, man, like, you could have had so many more gains. But I can't put enough emphasis on, you want to be the big muscly guy, right? Like, you're not heavy enough. Now, if you're a fatter, heavier guy listening to this, well, dude, you already got the size, obviously. Lift weights and do cardio. And how I do my cardio is low intensity, 20 minutes on the elliptical machine after, at the end of pull day and push day. I don't do it on leg day. And then, you do the full 3-day split twice a week. So that's 4 20-minute cardio sessions a week. That's a great place to start. If you're a really big guy, you might need more than that. It doesn't hurt to add more cardio. Now, eating, again, is the key. Just like the little guy, it's like, man, I'm killing myself in the gym. I can do 20 pull-ups, but I'm just not as big as I want to be. You gotta master eating. The big guy in the gym, man, I'm working out. I'm doing my cardio. I'm just not, I don't have the six-pack. Like, I'm flubby, I'm flabby, I'm pretty strong, but girls rather be with the smaller guy with, like, the striations and the abs. You just got to figure out how to eat. The ectomorph, it's harder for him to gain weight. Heavier set guy, it's harder for him to lose weight. It is possible. The smaller guy maybe thinks he's eating a lot. You maybe think that you're eating healthy. The first step is to really check yourself and, like, catalog everything you're eating. And the little guy's like, well, actually, yeah, oh my gosh, I had a big McDonald's order, and then the rest of the day I didn't eat anything. And then the big guy's like, oh, well, actually, like, I just eat like a sack of crap. So, got to eat healthy. The cardio only does so much. But definitely be doing it from both angles. You see a lot of big guys who only do cardio. Like, bro, hit it from both sides. Like, do the push-pull legs, lift smart, never get injured. And that's the last thing I want to say, guys, is like, this is why you don't want your ego. The ego will lead you to plateaus, not making gains, and injuries. And the injury is what took me out of the game, dude. Like, I basically gave up on lifting a couple of times over. I had issues. I would do pull-ups, and I'd get this really sharp pain in my shoulder that would last for like 4 days and make me not want to do anything. I'd get this nasty stuff on my knee. I injured myself, bro, and basically now I'm here with a clean slate. I can do pull-ups again. The knee pain's not bad. Running's not great for me. Unfortunately, jump rope is kind of wishy-washy for me. I think if I use my padded shoes on a padded mat and don't do any double jumps, I can be okay with jump rope. But it's just kind of, I just kind of don't really need to jump rope. You know, there's other ways to do cardio. I can just do lots of shadow boxing, lots of hitting the heavy bag, lots of hitting the double end bag. It's just one of those things where it's like, if I never jump rope, I'll never hurt my knee. And I don't need to run. If I never run, I'll never hurt my knee. I mean, I want to kind of LARP as a martial artist, but I'm not. I don't compete in that stuff. And ultimately, like, if I want to look good, the jump rope really has nothing to do with that, bro. I'm going to look good by keeping making gains, lifting weights, and putting on the freaking lean muscle, dude, and eating. But, you know, I'm probably going to keep jump roping because I'm doing the martial arts LARP. I don't think I'm going to run, though. I don't want to run. But big guys, you got to figure out how to eat. Little guys, you got to figure out how to eat. Everybody has to figure out how to eat. That's like central to your goal. Some people struggle with the lifting, but the lifting's not rocket science. Go to the gym, eat right. If you're little and you're staying little, you got to fix it, dude. I didn't fix it. I stayed small all through my freaking first 5 years of my 20s, and it was not necessary. You do not have to stay small. If you're a wrestler, if you're some sort of an athlete, a martial artist, that's different. But when you're saying, like, lifting weights will solve all your problems, it could solve a lot of your problems, dude. You could go from being the 130-pound nerd to, in like 3 years, which, you know, you're a 130-pound nerd when you're 17, 3 years, 20 years old, bro. College, beginning of your 20s, starting your life. And by the way, because I know my audience is all older than that, like, you can start this at any time, bro. I am on the path, knock on wood, to just looking better than I've ever looked, dude. Because 180 pounds muscular always looks better than 140 pounds. Girls like bigger guys, okay? If you're short, you can't control that, but you can get bigger. You need to be bigger, dude. You need to be bigger. You got to be reasonable about it. Mario Rios talks about aesthetics. Ultimately, aesthetically, like me doing the martial arts thing, if I was like a really lean, mean 170, that's probably about as aesthetically good as I could look. I think I could rock like 185, but I don't know. Am I really going to be like a lean, mean, like 185er? I would never compete at that, obviously. So I don't know. I think like a 170 would be good for me, you know, like, because women like lean guys, abs. There's this one OnlyFans chick. She had some pornos, and the guy that she chose, this girl that I think is just banging, freaking hourglass-shaped body, she was with some Brazilian dude who was just lean, shredded, ripped, six-pack, striations, probably like 145 pounds, maybe like 5'9" or something, you know? So some people just want to be lean. You know, maybe you can rock being the 145-pound lean guy. Maybe you feel confident. Ultimately, guys, it's all about your confidence. It's all about how you feel, what feels good to you. Me, I've always known that, like, weight was a big deal to me. It was huge for me the first time I weighed over 150 pounds. And, realistically, I'm almost 180 right now. At some point, I think my long-term goal is to be a lean, mean, doing backflips off walls, crazy amounts of pull-ups, never-ending cardio, martial arts, dojo master at 170 pounds. And if I ever competed in martial arts, I'd be a little tiny 135-pound guy. But I don't, so that's what it is. That's a really ranty video, dude. This is probably some video to, like, kill 50 minutes if you're bored or something, because there's good advice in it. It's just a little bit all over the place. And the dark horse is eating, my friends. And younger guys, I'm always hoping to get my advice to younger guys, like, get on top of it, bro. If the weight on the scale is not going up, it's going to be fun. let's eat top ramen and some donuts and start going to Wendy's and eating a little bit more Pizza Hut, or the kind of like bulk meals is like, dude, just like eating spoonfuls of peanut butter. Oh my gosh, dude. If I was bulking up to 200 pounds, macaroni and cheese, ground beef, spoonfuls of peanut butter, freaking celery in the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, peanut butter and honey sandwiches, eggs in your shakes. Like, dude, I don't know how I thought it was hard to gain weight. But partying is something that might hinder you. It could make you gain too much weight. It could make it hard for you to gain weight. That's why when you're trying to sell this like clean, drug-free lifestyle, dude, if you want to look good when you're young, if you want to gain weight, lose weight, whatever your goals are, the excessive drinking, broing out with the dudes, be like, sorry guys, I can't throw rocks behind the dumpster today and smoke weed. I gotta go lift weights. Only go to the parties where there's girls, dude, okay? Go to the real parties. Anybody who's ever like partied knows. Like, there's like, hey man, us and the guys are gonna go like freaking drink cough syrup and like talk about nerdy bullshit like behind the bleachers. Like, nah, no thanks. I gotta go lift weights and eat like a man. It's like, hey dude, there's a raging party and like all the sorority girls are here. I'm there. You go to those parties. You go to the parties probably only on the weekends that are worth it. That could fall on your day off. And well, actually probably you'd want to lift weights that day and then get hammered that night, and then your day off is the next day. I felt really weak after I drank. So yeah, bro, like, you want to be successful socially, but so much of the times that I was being stupid, drinking, nerdy parties where just a bunch of guys getting hammered, and it's not worth it. So I don't want to hinder you socially. Ultimately, you don't need to smoke weed at all. Weed is kind of for losers, and it's not going to get you women. It's not going to get you anywhere you want to go. Alcohol, only go to the cool parties. Only go to the social parties where you show off your awesome, muscly jerk body. Don't drink freaking Everclear behind the dumpster with all your nerdy friends. There's no reason to. They'll probably all like backstab you in 10 years anyway when you're freaking Greek demigod. Like me. Boom. Okay. Well, that was 53 minutes, almost an hour of me talking about lifting weights. So nobody asked. And there you go. God bless you, my friends. Best of wishes.